All right, we are recording. So today's going to be kind of more of a fun kind of mastermind. I love when I hear your guys' ideas and it gives us ideas. So I wanted to talk a lot about lenders and lender programs, get some feedback, stories of what's been working, what's not been working, maybe lenders that your clients have used that might not be on our list, that should be on our list. And then like Erica, like you talked about, we'll roll through the email template and the lender spreadsheet. And I think we really do want to update that spreadsheet to really be exactly what our clients are looking for. So whether it's have one option of the 100% financing and then, do the Dave Ramsey one with Churchill, Keller Mortgage. Do we want a mortgage boutique on there? Do we want one other one, Weston Wood and all them? I'm so sorry. Hold on one second.
Really, I wonder what's happening with the dog right now.
Getting yelled at. If it was my dog, you'd hear me say not nice things.
Yesterday, I definitely was not on mute, and I realized after I was like, "Stop it!" I'm very sorry. He watched me get up angrily.
That is hilarious.
Marched to the door. I was like,
my favorite was just a minute, and then
I think it was Erin that did it last week. We were on that training, and she yelled at her dog, and it was a voice I've never heard out of Erin.
Wow.
These dogs are driving me nuts. Look at her just sit up there. She's crazy.
She's so cute, though. I cannot get over how cute she is.
Oh gosh. All right. So let's pull up the lender spreadsheet. Does that all sound good to you guys? We won't keep you too long, but I think just getting some feedback and kind of stories and ideas, just, I don't know. I love masterminding with you guys. I think it's gonna be great.
Me too.
All right. Let's pull up. Let me share my screen.
I'm going to turn off my video because I'm about to stuff my face with a burrito, so nobody needs to see that.
Come on.
It's so entertaining.
Not sexy, Erica. Not sexy.
I'm currently
Going on YouTube. Oh, you guys are being
Post it to my fans only page.
Yeah, right.
Fans only. Oh my gosh.
Watch Erica eat a burrito. $5.
$5.
Millions.
Not much for that.
I love it. All right. Let's do lender spreadsheet. All right. So this is what we have in there. So this is the one that you guys are seeing in all of your folders, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So we know Keller Mortgage. Has anyone used First Bank at all? I think
Yeah.
Eric Whaley, right?
I use First Bank for Weston.
Right.
Honestly, Amanda, he is an angel. He also came to like our closing.
Yeah.
He talked to me late night. He talked to me early morning, kept in constant communication, is amazing with like lender fee sheets, all of that. There was some breakdown though. And I would love, I don't know if it's experience, I'm not one to ask somebody how long they've been a lender for because I've only been an agent for so short. I don't want to like judge somebody by that by any means. But yours is conventional this time, right?
Yes, and I'm using him to, yes, conventional, not FHA.
Is it conventional, just pretty straightforward, nothing crazy about it?
Yeah, nothing crazy about conventional. FHA will have a FHA appraiser that has to go out there.
Yeah.
FHA is pretty simple too. I think what you were dealing with at least was THDA and USDA. Is that right?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Not USDA. Well, yeah. So that's where it kind of got tricky from the very beginning. Like we thought we could do USDA. She had one little tiny bump in her salary for 1 month because he did some overtime around the holidays, pushed her out of USDA. We moved to THDA. And then there was
Okay.
also the huge rush on the seller's part. So there was a lot of things going against us that everyone seems to forget once we get to close to closing. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Like the seller was like, we've been doing this for months. And it's like, no, we haven't. We went under
Sure.
contract less than 30 days ago. So
Yeah.
my point being, Weston's wonderful and I would love
Okay.
to keep working with him.
Okay.
There were some things he did that felt like junior league, but I think that he probably learned some serious lessons, as did I. And I
Okay.
think we see how it goes with yours. And
Yeah.
then, I mean, he would be great to promote.
Okay. Good. Yeah, he's been pretty solid so far. We've gotten lots of updates. Appraisal was already ordered. We should be rolling right along. And their fees aren't outrageous at all either. And they are offering, so the one that my client is doing is they're offering a $6,000 grant to him.
Oh,
Yes, so it's some kind of government grant, which I need to call Weston. I want to make sure you had a decent experience with him as far as like communication and stuff.
yeah.
And I'm going to call him and ask about that grant program. And then there was another loan that he was able to do. And my client was telling me about it. They can't do it right now. I don't know if it was COVID related or whatever, but there was also a loan that First Bank was offering that you could count the sweat equity that you were going to put into the home to help you qualify for the loan. If that makes sense.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if the house was a complete fixer upper and they said, all right, I'm going to come in and do new carpet, this, you could count that sweat equity that you're going to put into it towards
That's
it.
cool.
Yeah. So really, really neat programs. And like I said, they can't do it right now. I don't know if that's COVID or not. I have to go back and look at my messages. But he is getting a $6,000 grant. So I just have to see what are those parameters around there. How is he getting that? Is it good credit? Is it income based? Kind of what the scenario is there. Let's see. Yeah.
That's
with the-
awesome. Yeah, I
I'd
mean,
love to learn more about the THGA process too, Erica. Do you have any kind of insight around that?
run. No.
No, it was just all kind of on the back end.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to think what like tidbits I could take away from it. I mean, the whole idea is that they're extremely like strict.
Right.
But yeah, like it's like great to help with the down payment and all of that. Like with my clients, I mean, it was like they needed document after document after document after document. Like it never ended. Now, again, a lot of my situation was, so if I take two and separate them, the Weston one was a lot of fault on the buyer too.
Okay.
We didn't disclose a couple things, which would make THDA like 10 times more psycho because they felt like they were being lied to. On my other side, the other people, they were THDA as well. And besides the fast turnaround, I wouldn't say there was any issues at all.
Okay.
So,
cool.
You know, and it's all about like the grants and stuff they give. Like I think the clients that didn't have any issues, the only thing that took longer, like I would definitely try everything in your power to do like the 45 days with THDA. Okay. But the only thing that took longer was they were getting that grant and it took longer to get the grant funds into the banks or into the lender's funds to be able to then process it and get it to the closing.
Okay, I see. Got it. So we definitely need 45 days on THDA. That's great to know.
USDA too, supposedly. Supposedly USDA is
USDA.
taking longer than THDA right now.
Awesome. That's good to know as well. Let's see. Cool. Anybody else have any experience with First Bank?
I will say, just going back to the THDA too, real quick, Loan Depot was amazing at that. I mean, they closed us in less than 15 days.
Wow.
He literally said, I don't actually know how we made this possible. I think they did a lot of things they shouldn't have done, but
yeah, that's interesting because there's 3 underwriting processes with THDA. So that's fascinating that they were able to do it that fast.
Yeah, like 2 of the processes were happening like day of. It was insane. But I do know Mark at Loan Depot now has a contact to the director at THDA. So
Wow. So Erica, you said there's 3 underwriting processes?
Yeah.
Okay. I've never done a THDA one yet.
Yeah. I did the class to make, I'm an accredited THDA agent or whatever. It was like a full day class.
Wow.
So it's definitely an interesting program. And yeah, Rayleigh's right. There are a ton of hoops to jump through, and I mean, it's way more stringent than FHA, and their limits are a lot lower. But yeah,
I'll say something random that kept coming up in mine, which thinking back is not shocking, but like still like took me off guard. They check Venmo a ton.
Really?
They like comb through Venmo. And it's probably because, you know, you're talking about people that probably have tighter finances and they want like, if they see anybody, like one of my clients had $200 a month coming in from her sister. And it was like, they went like, they needed all the documents on that. Wow. And like my other client, there was $1,000 through Venmo. I mean, her and her boyfriend, they bought the house together, and who knows, maybe they were splitting rent or something, but they were like crazy about that. So Venmo came up a ton.
Okay. That's good to know. Interesting.
What were they looking for? Were they looking for sources of income or expenses?
They don't want
extra income.
Yeah, extra income. There you
go. Okay.
They don't want you to be reliant on someone paying you something, rent, something a month to be able to pay you for your house.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. So I don't want to see any of that extra income. That's good to know, especially when we're talking to new clients about these different programs, you know, bringing that up and mentioning it as they go. Hey, don't be Venmoing large amounts of money, you know, back and forth to each other. That's great. Awesome. And who was your contact, Erica, at Loan Depot?
Mark Rood, R-O-O-D.
Rood. Okay, cool. There used to be an agent in our office. Her name's Ira Hines. Have you guys seen her, heard of her?
No, but that name sounds familiar.
Yeah, she was all over our Facebook page, like KW's Franklin's page and stuff. So you might see her name kind of pop up. Her name's Ira. She worked for Movement Mortgage, and she kind of was the rep in our office that worked, you know, where Dawn's office is with Foundation Title now, like how she sits in that little, right across from Kurt's offices. She used to sit in there, and she used to work for Movement, and she moved over to Loan Depot. So if you ever need, if Mark's not available or whatever, we can always reach out to her too. She's good. She's intense, but she's great. She gets the job done.
Awesome.
Yeah, Ira Hines. I'm gonna make a little Google Doc with some additional names so we have those. And Erica, if you could send me over Mark's contact info, I'll add that on there as well. That way, if we ever need some additional people, we have some people to go to.
I believe he's the branch manager.
Oh, he is. Okay, cool.
So it kind of, you know.
Yeah, branch manager. I love it. Cool. All right, CMG. I know we've had some struggles with CMG. It's sounding like Bruce's team is better. Has anyone used their team yet?
I mean, Chris, I've communicated with Chris a couple of times. I really like him. I like his educational approach to things, but that's because I just want to understand why and how. So he's helped me to get 2 clients pre-qualified that have been previously declined.
I love it.
That's great.
And Chris he moved. He's actually not with CMG anymore.
Oh, is he not? Who's he with
Chris
now?
Basham. He's with a mortgage boutique.
Ah, that's right. Okay, so I guess we need to fix that, huh?
Yep. So we need to change that in there. But Chris is great. He explains things very thoroughly. And same thing, he's been able to help one of my clients too that has been kind of struggling with getting pre-qualified.
Yeah.
And with his new company, the Mortgage Boutique, it seems like they have low interest rates. Are you finding that too?
Oh, I'd have to go. Honestly, I didn't pay attention to that. I'd need to go back and look. I think for us, the big one was that he was just able to get them pre-qualified, but also equip me with knowing what do I need to help them find, and then what do I need to negotiate on their behalf.
Oh, I love it.
You know, so that we can get them in the home
and help them find.
That's my biggest pet peeve when lenders tell you like, oh, you need to ask for closing costs. I'm like, how much?
Sure.
Do I need to ask for all of them? Or, you know, that drives me crazy.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally.
That's very general. Or when they say they just need to make more money.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't we all love to make more money? Like, that's not.
I heard this morning, my guy this morning told me that my client needs to make less money. I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Lovely.
I'll be sure to tell him that.
Right.
Oh, goodness. Let's see. Awesome. Anyone else with CMG? I mean, I have reached out to Carrie Ann a couple times and I've gotten no response. So I'm struggling a little bit with that, but they are able to qualify people, you know, that have kind of trickier situations.
I've been talking to a Crystal over there on Carrie Ann's team.
Yeah, she's their first step person.
Okay, she says she wouldn't be who you talk to all the way through.
No, she's just their document collector.
Oh, well, that doesn't really make me feel any better than I felt before.
Yeah, sorry.
Just because, you know, sometimes with these clients that have never walked through this, they don't want to be like shuffled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And of all things with lenders, it's like you need to be able to like talk to them.
So one of the lenders that I just met with, Cammie, I met with her 2 weeks ago, I guess it was. She used to be on Carrie Ann's team. So she told me the good, bad, and the ugly. And apparently a lot of people are panicking with Carrie Ann. So I tried to go through Greg Brody over at CMG. He's down in Nolensville, but I found the same the same problems. I would reach out to him and he would text me back and say, yeah, I'll reach out to your clients. And then like 3 days later, he still hadn't called them.
Okay, got it. Man.
Has anyone had any luck with Bruce Sims?
Heather has. Heather talked to Bruce, I think last week. I wish she could be on here. She's at a closing. But I'll get some info from her. But she was talking about the whole like home ready program and stuff like that. She said he's been great. I don't know how the communication, you know, went afterwards, but I know he's like the branch manager is what it sounds like, or the team leader over there.
Yeah, I have a great impression of him, but I haven't worked with him with a client, so that could be a whole nother world. So I'd, be interested to see what her take is so far.
Totally. Yeah. So it sounds like we gotta, if Bruce isn't the answer, we gotta figure out if CMG, if we're gonna be able to work with them. Because communication is a huge thing. And if clients aren't getting, I mean, they're paying what, $1,600 to, you know, use these lenders, and if we're not getting good service, then, you know.
Yeah. I almost wonder, do we not have them on our list, but just keep them in our back pocket for at this point, since we haven't we don't have a way of knowing for sure if it's a good thing. Keep them in our back pocket for like the very special circumstances.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. I think maybe that's one that we keep on our email list. And then you know how I'll pull that up in a second. We can take things off, but maybe don't have it on our actual sheet. Maybe we can put, keep Chris Basham on there, but add that Mortgage Boutique on. What do you guys think about that?
Mhm.
I think it's a good idea.
Boutique insert CMG.
I just
Love it.
worry that initial, like, if we were to have clients or we're trying to use like the lender sheet as a way to get people to talk to us more, or any of those things, and use it as almost like a tool for us, a selling tool, and then they
Mhm.
don't call, that's just
Yep.
like immediately not good.
It is. It's definitely a really bad impression. And like Erin was telling me about Mortgage Boutique's interest rates being super low. So that could be our kind of point to bring up there. So Keller Mortgage, no closing costs. Has anyone had any issues with Jackie while we're on that real quick? Or any other Keller Mortgage agents?
The only one I had was just that the one specific client just said she was asking for a lot of stuff that they
Yeah.
weren't quite like expecting to need so quickly in the process.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, they definitely are upfront. They want a lot of information. I'm using Matt, something Garrison or something like that, for my parents' refi, and he has been fabulous. Like 2
Right.
rings, and he picks up.
Yes,
He
I love
has
that.
answered any questions that my parents have. We started talking about, like one day when Ashley and I take over the mortgage on this house, how that goes. So he's been a great resource for my parents. So I definitely think that
Love it.
he's fabulous too.
Awesome. I'm gonna put, you said his name is Matt, right?
Yeah, it's actually something else, but he goes by that.
Yeah, no worries. I'll put it on the Google Doc when I share it with everybody. You can add his info on there.
Yeah, I'll go ahead.
I think
Matt. Yeah, because just in case Jackie's busy or can't take a contract, it'd be good to have somebody else there.
Mhm.
Or if you want to use him in the future.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, so we have a question to ask.
That was weird.
sorry, no, that was me. Somebody sent me a message and I made the mistake of opening it up. It's a friend who just had a baby.
Okay.
Should not have answered that.
All
So,
good.
yeah. I mean, I'm excited she had her baby. It was huge, but I thought I was just popping open a picture of the baby, and apparently it's a video.
You're totally fine. No worries. Cool. I think one thing we need to update on this lender sheet as well is the credit score for Keller Mortgage.
Mhm.
I think it's up to like 7 something. I've had some issues with clients getting discouraged because they haven't been able to get approved. So I think if they have credit in the mid 6s, I'd probably steer them away from Keller Mortgage. What do you guys think?
Yeah. I think it's if that's the trend right now, I think that would be good.
Yeah, I'll double check with Jackie, but I know it changed again recently. And their income restrictions have gotten really tight because of COVID. So I had an issue with getting some clients qualified for what they wanted to get qualified for, just due to the income ratios being tighter. They had to change a lot of their restrictions. So if your clients have kind of funky income and funky situations and kind of good credit and maybe some debt, we don't want them to get super discouraged. So you can just let them know, hey, we can always try, but just a heads up that their qualifications have gotten tighter just due to COVID, and it's nothing, nothing of your fault. But
So that's good. That's good to hear. I've got a client right now that is he's ready to list his home, but he needs to get pre-qualified for where he's going to go next.
Mhm.
And his lender, his bank that he normally uses, won't pre-qualify him for a home right now because he just bought a business like last summer.
Interesting.
And so is that, yeah. I mean, I sent him info on Keller Mortgage, but it sounds like that may not be the right route to take, right?
It might be tricky because
Yeah,
now
they're
he probably
definitely
incurred a lot
straightforward.
of debt.
What about Basham? Do you think Chris would be a better avenue for him?
I think it's a good shot.
Okay.
I do. I think he's able to make, when Keller Mortgage couldn't approve my clients, he sounds like he's making something work with them at the purchase price that they want to be at. So I think definitely have them fill out an application with him. He's been great in the sense of, I told him where my clients want to be as far as cash to close and monthly payment, and he's trying to find a solution around making that work. So I think he might have some flexibility there.
Okay.
I don't think they sell their loans off either. So I think they are an in-house lender. So I think they keep them all, is what he was telling me. If that's something that's important to your clients.
I don't really know if that's important at this point. He just wants to get into his new home.
Anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I met with a buyer a couple weeks ago, and that was something that was super important to him that I hadn't heard before. He didn't want anyone selling the loan. He wanted someone to service it the whole time.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's something that's important. I think Mortgage Boutique does it. And I know Ascend does too.
Was there a reason that was important?
He wanted to be able to make this mortgage payment to the same person every single time.
Interesting.
He didn't want to have to set up new, online banking stuff or direct deposit stuff. He just was like, I want to go, like, he almost said he wanted to like go there and physically drop like a check off, like a bank would,
Wow. That's old school.
Yeah. It was old school.
Hey,
But then he went with Keller Mortgage because it's cheaper.
That's awesome.
Go ahead, Erica.
He said he might get let down if they decide to sell it off later.
Which they will, absolutely.
They will.
Mine was sold to Mr. Cooper. Who is that?
Who's Mr. Cooper?
Mr. Cooper.
That's the only way they make
like,
money.
I don't like that. Mortgage payment going to Mr. Cooper.
Said that Lisa's loan was sold to Mr. Cooper also because they were talking about it.
Was it? Yeah. That must be who the new investor is.
Right.
Yeah. That's so funny. Cool. Perfect. Well, I'll get those updated as far as credit score goes for Keller. And then we'll take CMG off, and then Churchill. Anybody have any experience with Jordan?
Yes. Wonderful.
How's that going?
Great. He was one of my Dave clients, the one that like had me like full on interview. I recommended him and Jeremy. He liked both of them. He actually interviewed both of them, got both of their fee sheets, all of that. Ended up going with Jordan specifically just because he just really liked his professionalism. And Jordan's, it's been smooth so far.
Awesome. Yes, Churchill is great. And everybody knows that Dave does endorse Churchill, right? Cool. So anytime you do have a Dave client, you want to definitely add Churchill into your suggestions. Yeah, Jordan's great. I've had nothing but great experiences with him too. Great communication, very professional. If someone needs a lot of attention, Churchill is typically the one that I'm going to recommend. I know they'll be able to sit down.
What do you mean by a lot of attention?
So if they need a lot of guidance as far as lending goes, if they're terrified of lending, they don't understand anything, they just need a lot of help. Even I have a client from New Jersey, and she had a lot of like estate stuff going on when her mom passed away, and money kind of all over the place. And she actually set up a meeting and sat down with Jordan in his office and like went over everything.
I do love that.
Yeah. They're going to be your brick and mortar, have an office here in Franklin, can sit down and go over everything with you. So kind of more that personal attention, I would say. Points. And then North Point. Has anyone worked with Kimberly here?
Nope.
This is one that I know nothing about.
Yeah, no worries. So North Point was one of Aaron's Dave clients right before I joined the team, recommended North Point, and they're an online bank. Heather actually said she has she banks with North Point now. She actually did her loan with North Point when she bought her house here. And the reason being is their interest rate was significantly lower, like almost a whole point lower than the other competitors. And this is when interest rates were at like a 4.5. She was getting people a 3 and 3.5, which was phenomenal. So it was saving a ton of money on their monthly payment.
But we don't know if that's recent.
Right. Now, recently, interest rates are so low, I don't know that she could really get a 1%, interest rate or anything like that, or 1.5. So I think she's pretty competitive as far as that goes. But I'm sure it'd probably be in the low twos. But she's really one that we turned to when rates were pretty high, I guess, higher than they are now. But it is an online bank, so there's no in-person, anything like that. The fees are pretty high. So this is one I think I'd like to see off the spreadsheet and add in one of these 0% down lender program people. It doesn't necessarily have to be Ascend, but I think adding in some kind of option there would be good. You guys think?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I know, Erica, you're dealing with Ascend right now. Can you kind of fill us all in? I know we talked about it before we recorded, but kind of fill us in on how things are going, kind of some things you'd like to see different.
I would love to see better communication. So they are expecting my client to communicate with me rather than them looping me in, which is annoying and frustrating. And yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Especially when she told me that she couldn't tell me anything, and I'm like, yes, you can.
Okay. Yeah, so we need some better communication. And I'm gonna like I said, I'll send you Jeremy's contact info. He's the one that I've worked with at Ascend. So maybe adding him on there. I know there are some parameters around the 0% financing. The house can't be over 300,000. I think there's some income stuff too. Is that right, Erica Briggs?
That I honestly and truly, I don't know.
Not sure. Okay.
Yeah, she never communicated anything with me. I never got a fee sheet or anything like that.
Okay.
And which lender was that?
At Ascend.
Oh, it Ascend.
Yeah, she just sent me a pre-approval letter and told me to find him something and that we needed closing costs. And I was like, that's one of, again, pet peeve. How much in closing? Do I need full closing?
Sure.
So
we just need good, much better communication. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I just don't even know how you can lead your clients well without that information. That's crazy.
I mean, I've never really, I guess I've always had personal relationships with my lenders in the past. So I was able to just shoot them a text or whatever. So this is the first time that I've ever worked with somebody that I didn't know, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I know, loving and trusting my lenders for sure.
Yes, absolutely. And that's totally what we want. We want to make sure that we have these good relationships and and are working with the people that you know, love, and trust. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Was this Tanya, is that her name?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tanya lady. Was she did the client find her? Is that kind of how that went? Do you know?
I believe so. And I mean, right off the very front of it, I suggested that he use somebody different, but I guess she was helpful on the front end, so he wanted to stick with her. And after my conversation with him last night, he's like, could somebody else close this at this point? So
I get it. And
yeah.
maybe I'm hopeful Jeremy can step in and maybe help.
Funny enough, I got an email while we were on this call from the processor. So
Good.
all of a sudden everything is fine. So who knows really?
Good. I love that. Awesome.
I mean, I actually have a friend he lives in Oklahoma, but he's been in mortgage lending for years. He's actually about to get his Tennessee license.
Yes.
For mortgage lending. So at what point would we take a closer look at what he has to offer?
Absolutely. Anytime. If me and him want to jump on a call, we can just talk through some of the different programs, what the fees look like, what the company offers. Some are more techy, some are just like, email me documents, some are like upload it to the portal, all that stuff. But yeah, absolutely. The more lenders we have that are great, the better.
Okay. I'll find out when he's going to have his license, and then we'll plan to talk after that.
I love it. Yeah. Do you know what company he's with?
I have no idea. Never had reason to know.
No problem.
Never had reason to know that.
I've got a handful that I think that we should be adding to the list too. So
yes, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you guys a Google Doc with all the different ones. And then we'll have that on there. So you can just add the contact info as you work with different lenders. If your clients, pick them up or whatever, just put them on there. I had one that was like North American Funding or something. I don't know. He was great. My clients found them. They did the thing, closed it on time. It was fabulous. So he didn't really necessarily have anything good, bad, whatever, but if it was like a last resort thing, he's a good one as well. But yeah, that'd be awesome, Erica. We'd love to hear some of those other ones, because you met with a couple recently, didn't you?
I did, yeah. And I've got 2 going with different lenders, and the communication has been fabulous. And Curtis over at Lendingham, who actually Roger just sold him a house last week. So Roger got me in contact with him, but he is he's kind of blowing me away with the way that he thinks about things, and he's definitely getting creative and yeah, super impressed with him.
I love that. Yes. Anything he does that or any kind of programs that you know of that he does specifically? Does he have a niche or anything?
Right now he is doing a VA loan for me. He is a vet. So that is his niche. I got in contact with him because he also does physicians loans, but we ended up
right. Okay.
Yeah, he ended up pushing us back into VA just because the rates are better. And but yeah, getting creative. He's refinancing. We're going to simultaneously refinance this guy's first house that he used his VA benefits for, so he can requalify for VA benefits here.
Awesome.
Which was fascinating to me, and I didn't know that you could do that. And he was like, well, that's, I've been in the military for 15 years, yeah. So I know that you can do those things. So he'll definitely be my VA guy for sure.
That's huge.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That's great to know. I don't think we have anybody on there that's VA. I've had people go through Veterans United, but I mean, I'd rather have he's local here, I'm assuming.
Yeah, he's up in Madison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I've got my clients are super type A, and even they, like, I got a text message from my client last night at 11:30, and of course it was the one night I forgot to put my phone on do not disturb, and he was like, I just want to let you know how impressed I am with Curtis, because I sent him an email at 20 minutes ago, and he's obviously still up working, and he responded to me, and we're going to be writing an offer this afternoon. So he's just been busting his butt for us.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about him. It's great. Sweet.
Yeah. And I'm super excited about Cammie too. I think she's going to be great too.
Yeah. Cammie, Cammy.
Camee, Mackie, Mackie. And I know her husband through Ren. So she's the one that used to work for Carrie Ann as her
cool.
processor and then underwriter. And now she's with Highlands.
Okay.
But it's awesome because obviously her husband is an agent. So she is aware of what us as agents need, because, she's sitting on the couch at night doing it for her husband. So
yeah. Oh, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, definitely send over their contact info. That's huge.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. All right. Well, let's wrap it up with some follow-up boss templates. So I think you guys were able to see my screen in there. So another one is Marlene over at Synovus. Have you guys used her at all? Anybody? No. I think I haven't personally used her either. But I think she also has a 100% financing option. So I'll get with her too and get some more info about that program. I think Roger had suggested her in the past. So once we go through the buyer consultation, you go to email templates and type in lender, you're going to see a couple different email templates pop up. The first one's going to be the new lender contact info after the buyer consultation. So this is the one that you want to use when you're finished up the buyer consultation. You send them over the email, great to meet you, yada, yada, yada. So it was so great to meet you. Honored and excited to join you in this journey. We'll go as fast or slow as you want to go. Do you think the next step is to look at different lending options and programs out there? That way you know all your options financially and what is possible when you want to move forward with purchasing. And then here are the lenders I recommend that would be a good fit for you. So a lot of times we send that whole long email that I just had up with 10 different contact names and yada, yada, yada. It's too much. It's too overwhelming for them. So Aaron and I have decided 3 is a perfect number. And the way that we're going to determine those 3 is pulling out that spreadsheet. And if you want to pull up the Google Doc, if you have some other options, if they start talking about my credit's funky, my income's funky, it doesn't really fit into any of these boxes. And you can just let them know, hey, we've got some other options as well that I can send over to you that I think are going to be great. So being well-versed in these different lenders and the things that they offer are going to help guide you towards which 3 that you're going to want to recommend to your clients. So how you get this information is from that other. So what I like to do is just pull up, follow a boss in another tab as well. Move you guys around. I'm gonna use, let's just pull up someone real quick. All right, Thomas. All right, so if you go back to the templates, and type in lender, that lender contact info is that first one that was pulled up. It's going to have all the contact info for the ones that we, so there's Chris Basham with a mortgage boutique. So we'll update this to include all the ones on the spreadsheet. And then if you guys would like us to continue to add a couple other ones, just let us know. And we can definitely add those on there as well. That way it's an easy copy paste into this template right here. And they can just go ahead and click on the apply and move forward from there. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Hey, Amanda, do those email templates, do they include the, the purchase and sale agreement as well?
purchase and sale agreement. Tell me that.
Remember in the buyer presentation, it actually says, hey, we want you to read through the purchase sale agreement in advance. So you have questions or whatever. And I find myself always trying to go back into my downloads to find where do I have that general PSA so I can attach it to. Is there a template that already has that?
That's a great idea. There's not, but we can certainly create that. Do you think that's something that we should include on this one, or maybe we could add it to? There's another template in here. It's called buyer value after the consultation. Maybe we add it to that one.
Yeah.
Under resources, and we can say attached is a blank copy of the purchase and sale for you to read through.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's great. Either one, whichever one we're going to naturally follow up with.
Yeah, because this one I would send first. This one I would send right after the consultation. And then I always send two, honestly. I send this one that says what we do different. And then I've got you set up on auto notify, all the resources we talked about. And then I send a separate one with all the lending stuff.
Got it.
Because it might not be that the next step is lending every single time, you know?
Right. Absolutely.
I always, actually, that's funny you bring that up, Gina, because I sometimes like navigate away from that. Like I say it on my buyer's presentation, and then I say, actually, because I never knew what we were supposed to do there. So I say, actually, what I'm going to do is we're going to talk over the things that you need to know that will go on the purchase and sale agreement ahead of time. And then once I've filled it out for you for that specific property, then we'll go through it. Because I kind of navigate that basically, like if I explained it to you right now, it would be really hard to comprehend until we're talking about a certain situation.
Sure. Absolutely.
But I think it's great to just send a blank one because we say we're going to, you know?
I agree. Yeah, I think let's add that. On here under resources, and we'll add blank purchase and sale for you to review, and I can answer any questions. Yeah. It will help us too if they're more prepared. And with our market today, like we have to move really quickly. Sometimes there's not an hour or two for them to sit there and read through everything and ask all those questions. So I love that you guys brought that up. That's great. We'll make sure that gets updated on there. And I'd love to update. I wish we could update this that says hi blank to the same font. But this pulls from, is this like a auto thing? I don't know if you guys ever noticed that, but it drives, I know Heather has, because it drives me and Heather crazy. Yeah.
What is it?
Do you notice how this font is different than this?
Oh, yeah, I go back through and
I type in, hi Thomas.
See, I just take out all formatting because I'm just like, I can't. I can't.
Yep. Totally. Awesome. Well, anybody have any other thoughts, questions? I think this is great. This gives me some good insight on who you guys are working with, what's been going good, what's not been going good. And I'm going to work on that Google Doc today and get that out to you guys so we can start filling that up with great lenders.
I think it's great.
All good? Yeah. Awesome.
Yes.
Sweet. You guys ready to sell and buy some more houses?
Yeah.
Just flipping them on the market. Yes. That'd be amazing.
I wish people would start talking to me today.